What's going on, Titan Nation? How's everybody doing? Welcome into a very special edition of Titans and Truth. I am your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we got a very exciting episode for you coming today. And for everybody here, you can check out everything on my Facebook page, TNT Enforcers. That's the Titans and Truth fan page. You can also follow, of course, on Instagram at Titans_N_Truth. And also, you can check me out on Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer. And of course, all videos are uploaded on YouTube. And so today's episode, we got a very big episode coming. We're going to talk a little bit about the last game against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the dress rehearsal. And then, of course, talk a little bit about tonight's game against the Minnesota Vikings, the last preseason game of the season before we get ready to go to Miami for week 1. And also my projections of my 53-man roster is coming out as well. So these are the projections of who I think is going to make the roster and a couple of noticeable cuts that I put on the practice squad. And so we're going to go into that right there. But first off, welcome everybody in. Thank y'all for joining in with me and everything. And I have a very special guest coming on with us. If you don't know him, you better get to know him. You better get to love him because he does come out with some very good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, I give to you, he is the ESPN beat writer for the Tennessee Titans, the one and only Mr. Turron Davenport on the show with us this morning. Mr. Davenport, Mr. Turron, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Now, we were talking about this preseason game with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the dress rehearsal. And of course, I know there's a lot of people out there that might be going into a very small bit of panic mode, talking about, the sky might be falling a little bit because the offense didn't perform as well. And, the defense might have gave up that little touchdown to Justin Hunter, which was a good pass by Ben Roethlisberger, in my opinion. Quickly, what did you see in that dress rehearsal that maybe gave a little bit of confidence or some pause for thought?
Well, I think the biggest problem in that was just they were lacking physicality in that game. The Steelers pretty much overpowered them at the line of scrimmage, and that's something that you can't have. And I don't care who's back there at quarterback. When you have guys in your face, it makes it harder to do your job. But at the same time, you saw a disconnect between Mariota and Corey Davis. They weren't able to get on the same page on a couple throws, so that's something to definitely take note of. I don't think you should be overly concerned about it, but it's something to watch, to monitor. Now, I will say they've been on the same page in practice, but really what it is those off-schedule throws, those unscripted plays. That's where they have to get on the same page. But at the same time, help is coming for the Titans and for Mariota and Delaney Walker and Rashard Matthews, because those are the guys that he knows really well. He's able to read their body language, and he knows what they're doing. But those are just two things. I think, you mentioned the good pass by Roethlisberger to Justin Hunter. Adoree Jackson was in cover. Sometimes, just the guys on the opposite side of the ball make plays too, and that's what happened there. But if you notice, Adoree Jackson came back and had a solid couple series where he had the pass break up. He had the tackle, first the tackle to prevent the first down, then the pass break up later in that series to cause a turnover on downs. Those are things to kind of like look to pull hope from, because he was able to put that bad play behind him and come back and elevate his game. So there's some positive. There's also some negative. I mean, you saw Roethlisberger have time to really, go wherever he wanted with the football. I know the second unit, they struggled with Jalen Samuel. He kind of ran up and down the field on them. So it's just one of those things where, sometimes you're going to have a game like that, and it's not like the sky is falling. Don't need to jump off a bridge or anything. Just kind of lick your wounds and move on, and just be happy that it was the preseason, and there's still plenty of time for them to get things in order, and they'll continue to progress.
Absolutely. And, I definitely understand that with, what's going on. I mean, I know that a lot of guys are nervous. They're trying to fight for their jobs. They're trying to, show something and try to prove that they're ready to be on this team. Now, let's go back a little bit to that pass with Marcus Mariota and Corey Davis. And as I've looked at that play quite a few times, I know both guys have said, well, it was a miscommunication, on both sides. And then Coach Vrabel says, it was on him. And me personally, as I look at that play, it may have been that maybe Corey was a little bit too deep on his route or something like that. But I honestly think that it was on Marcus. That is a pass that he has to put on the money, because if he does put that pass on the money, Corey Davis is walking to the end zone. He might be still running right now in the end zone. He was completely wide open. I don't know how Marcus missed that particular pass on that. Would you call me crazy for that particular type of assessment?
I actually said that one was on Marcus Mariota, and Marcus said it after the game. He said that he has to hit Corey, when they have those opportunities for big plays. And really, when you look at it, if you notice, the safety is on the opposite hash. And, when you see the safety on the opposite hash and no one's over top of you as a receiver, you're thinking touchdown, right? And you want your quarterback to see the same thing. And it was a miscommunication in that Corey Davis was thinking touchdown, like up the field, as opposed to completion, which is what Mariota was thinking. I think it was 3rd and 8. And, if Corey Davis would have hooked up right there in that window and squared himself up and showed Mariota his numbers, that's a completion. But when you have opportunities to make big plays like that, you take advantage. And when you have the defense have a breakdown like that, there's no reason why that safety should have been, on the opposite hash, especially when you have two guys to that side, right? And when you have two guys to that side, someone is bound to be going on a deeper route. So you have to be there to cover it. So they caught them out of position, and they weren't able to capitalize on that. And then furthermore, another reason why Mariota is wrong is when I asked Mike Vrabel about Mariota being more aggressive and taking those shots on specifically these unscripted plays, he said exactly, let it rip. It's okay. I want him to throw the deep ball. I'm telling him to throw the deep ball. Just let it rip. So that's telling you right there that he's encouraging the quarterback to take those shots and not think completion, think touchdown. And with this offense, that's what they have to do, because they're going to be in a situation, with some of these teams they're going against, they have to score points, because these teams are, you look at the Texans, their offense is a high-scoring offense. Or, conversely, you look at the Jaguars, right? It's very hard to score against the Jaguars. So when you have an opportunity to score on a big play like that, you have to take advantage of it. You can't just think completion, because that defense is so good. So if you catch them slipping, catch them out of position, you have to maximize it. And that's not what happened on that play.
I definitely, and that is some great insights, some great knowledge on that, because that definitely shows, it's not just, the quarterback giving the pass on the ball or the receiver running the route. You got to be in sync. You got to be in good sync. And, and I agree with that. You got to think touchdown, because I've seen that a lot, when I played in high school football, or even in college ball or any NFL. A lot of times, receivers, they tend, when they're the ball's coming their way, the first thing they're thinking about is what they're going to do after they catch the ball. The moment, that they're about to catch it, they're already turned up field, going for more yards or heading for the end zone. So a lot of times, they see that they catch you got to catch with your eyes before you catch with your hands. And a lot of players are already going for that. So that might have been happening there. And so, but another thing I wanted to ask about was, did you see any players who surprised you? Maybe a player that wasn't looking like he was going to make the team, but now may have possibly played his way on to the 53-man roster?
Well, I think Anthony Ferguson put himself on the radar. I think he's someone that had a pretty good, couple series there, and he actually scored the touchdown. And he just showed himself to be a legit option in the passing game. He's someone I think would have definitely put himself in consideration. I don't have him making the roster, but I think he made a strong case for himself. And on the other side of the ball, I think Spillane just continued to show that he's a solid player. I'm not going to say he surprised me, but he and Kenneth Durden connected on a nice play to make the receiver there fumble at a key point. And he's a solid special teams player as well. So those are guys that definitely help themselves out. I personally, especially now with the acquisition of Kamale Correa, I think they pretty much solidified their inside linebacker / outside linebacker / special teams position in him. So I don't have Spillane make
Kamale Correa trade that was made yesterday. I was definitely impressed with Robert Spillane. A lot of times we've heard his name get called quite a bit in almost every game. He's been noticed doing something in every game. I think he definitely made some plays against the Packers, and then of course in the game against the Buccaneers as well, made a little bit happen with the limited time that he was able to have. But in this particular game, he definitely made some moves and definitely was very impressive. A very in tune player and a very, I would say, a very laid back individual, young man. I got to speak with him at the rookies event back in April or May, when a lot of them got drafted. A couple got drafted and a couple got signed as undrafted free agents, and got to speak with them. And Robert Spillane was one of them that I did get to speak with. Very down to earth young man. I really do hope he does make this roster because I think, that story is very impressive. I mean, he wasn't even signed as an undrafted free agent. He got the call to come to a tryout during the rookie mini camp, and he ended up sticking for a while on that. So that was something that is very impressive. He was even a bigger long shot. So, coming in with the bus ticket, and, just trying to make the team, and he might be very close to doing that. And so I want to go in lastly on this game against the Minnesota Vikings. We know that this is the last preseason game tonight, and for a lot of players, this could be their last game on the field, either in the NFL or just for this year or for some time, if they don't get called up by anything else. If you were a coach and you're talking to some of these guys at the back end of the roster who are going to be playing a lot tonight, what would you expect, or what would you tell them if you could?
Well, to be honest, just be consistent. Make the plays when they come to you. That's really the bottom line. That's what coaches want. They love the splash plays for sure. But if you're a guy who makes a splash play, but then at the same time comes back and misses your assignment a couple times, you pretty much negated the splash play that you made. So definitely make the plays that you are asked to make and do your job. That's really the bottom line. A lot of these guys in the special teams is an area where you have to go all out and you have to show, because as a back end of the roster type of guy, special teams is your ticket. So be the first guy down there on punt coverage. Be the first guy down there and make the tackle on kickoff team.
Absolutely. And I would probably add, if it was me as a coach, definitely I would just say, look, go out there, have fun, play hard, be aggressive, give it all you got. And I mean, because truth of the matter is, for a lot of those players in tonight's game, you ain't got to worry over your shoulder about somebody coming in for you, because for a lot of these guys, they're going to be playing the entire game. And, for a lot of these players, this is probably going to be the most fun that they get to have. And even if some of them do make the roster, they may not play as much, and like you said, special teams is going to be a big key tonight, I think, because if you make some plays on special teams, you'll get noticed. And like you said, that's the ticket. That's just like in the movie Invincible with Mark Wahlberg. If a lot of you out there remember, of course, Mark Wahlberg was a 30-year-old bartender who dreamed of playing in the NFL, who dreamed of playing football. He goes out there, he got called to a tryout, and what does he do? He had to play special teams. He wanted to be a wide receiver, but he didn't get to play wide receiver as much. He was on special teams. And what did he do there? He made some impact. And because of that, he made the team. So that, is definitely a thing that a lot of these players can inspire about, is that just, hey, go out there and play hard. One play could make the team, and one play could also kick you off the team as well. And definitely before we go into the projections, Turron, one other thing, we were talking about players who I think could have made the team in Ferkser and Spillane. And I will also throw in there Kenneth Durden, who, just got brought in last week, who just made some plays. He might have played himself onto the team. Do you think there may be one or two guys who looked like they were going to make the roster who maybe have played themselves off the 53-man roster possibly?
Well, to be honest about Durden, it was before the Steelers game that he made that impression. He was actually getting first, he was one of the first guys to come in the Bucs game. So Durden, I would say more than just the Steelers game did enough for him to really put himself on the radar for that coaching staff. As for guys who played themselves off the team, I don't really think that any individual, had that bad of a showing where they played themselves off the team. Obviously, there's some concern, like I said, about the offensive line. There was Josh Klein struggled, but obviously he's going to be there. He struggled initially, and even when Panfield came in for him, there was a missed assignment on one of the blocks. There was a stunt that the Steelers did, and he wasn't able to branch out and get his guy as he looped outside, get the D tackles, he looped outside to get to the quarterback. But I wouldn't say anybody just played themselves off the team.
Okay. All right. Well, that is definitely very good to know. And then, of course, there are a lot of players right there who could still play themselves onto the team along with maybe Ferkser and Spillane. But lastly, now we can go into into my projections of this 53-man roster. And before we do go into that, I want to give a shout out to my cousin, Miss LaCrystal Cleveland of Craft Gatsby Creations. As y'all know, I've been talking about her a lot on this show because she's very responsible for some of the gear that I've worn to Titans games in the past. Y'all see me in my Titans of Truth t-shirt, also in the hoodie and the sweatshirt as well. Of course, it says Titans of Truth on the front with my information on the back. If you want a shirt like that, if you want anything like that for a special occasion, a birthday, a wedding, or something like that, or like I said, you want a Titans of Truth shirt like me, definitely hit her up on Facebook under LaCrystal Cleveland or under the page Craft Gatsby Creations. Also, you can hit her up on Instagram at @CraftGatsby_creations as well to put your orders in. And so, things are getting into full swing. If you want to have a shirt by one of the games that you're going to, you might want to hit her up now before things get really busy, with kids back in school and everything. So definitely hit her up. Definitely hit her up on Facebook. And if you still want a shirt and you're not able to get to her, hey, talk to me. You guys know where I am on Facebook, on Instagram, and I will definitely get in touch with her as well, and I can get you in contact with her as far as putting in your order for that. So definitely hit me up on that. And also, one other thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to give away a Titans of Truth shirt later on this season. So I will get another one made along for me, another one for someone else. And, I may have something, a special contest or a big question or something like that. And, if you're the first one to do it or something like that, which I'll make more information as I go with that, you might be able to get a free Titans of Truth t-shirt coming to you. So I'll definitely give you more details on that as we go. So with this, Turron, a few more minutes, we're going to go into quickly running through this 53-man roster that I put together, just my projections of who I think is going to make this team and who might end up getting on the practice squad, maybe a few people that I think will make the practice squad. First off, let's start with the offense. And I start with, of course, at quarterback, I have, of course, Marcus Mariota starting. Y'all didn't think I was going to cut him, did you? Come on, y'all. You know, I'm not going to cut Marcus, of course. And I'm not going to cut Blaine Gabbert either. I know a lot of you are out there saying, oh, my God, Blaine Gabbert stinks. I know a lot of y'all thought we should have gotten maybe a Brett Huntley or Teddy Bridgewater, who both got traded, yesterday to the Seahawks and the Saints, respectively. But I have those two making the team, and I have Luke Falk, I think, ended up on the practice squad. Turron, do you have any objections to that?
No, not at all.
All right. And then, of course, we'll quickly go to running back. I have 3 running backs making the roster, of course, with Derrick Henry, Dion Lewis, and David Fluellen. I think Akram Watley will probably end up on the practice squad, and I think Dalen Dawkins just gets cut altogether. At wide receiver, and this was where I had a little bit of trouble at wide receiver. Of course, I got Corey Davis, Rashard Matthews, Taywan Taylor, Tajay Sharp. But this is where I ran into a problem because I was trying to see between, 5 and 6. Do we keep just 5? Do we make 6? I even heard Mike Keith yesterday in the preview before the Vikings game say maybe they'll keep 7. I don't think they'll go that far. I think they'll only keep 6. I think I have Nick Williams and Darius Jennings at the very end with Deontay Burnett just missing the cut, but I think he'll make the practice squad. But he may be very sought after by other teams, so he may not even make it to the practice squad, and we'll definitely see about that. At tight end, I have Delaney Walker, Jonnu Smith, Luke Stocker, and Anthony Ferkser. I have him making my 53-man roster. I have him as the 4th tight end on the roster. And then on the offensive line, of course, Taylor Warren, Jack Conklin, Dennis Kelly, Quinn Spain, Josh Klein, Ben Jones. I have Corey Levin, who has actually improved and done very well as a backup center and can also be a guard at times. And Kevin Paphill also making the team. And I know Paphill hasn't really just shown a lot, but Kevin Paphill can play all 5 positions on the line. Very versatile. That's why they brought him in. That's why they really like him. And so I have 8 offensive linemen making the team. And so, Turron, I want to ask you, before we go to the defense, what do you think of the offensive side? Did I leave somebody out that maybe should have made, that you think might make the team, or should I have kicked someone off? What do you think of the offensive side?
Yeah, I'll be quick because I don't really have a lot of time left. But Wadley, I think is someone that I have them keeping 4 running backs and 3 tight ends. So I don't know that Ferguson makes it. We'll see, but that would be the change that I would make. And I think Burnett does make the roster. It's going to be interesting between he and Darius Jennings.
All right, and I definitely see that. And I'll get you out of here with one last question, and I'll go over the defense and everything with that. Last but not least, let's quickly talk about Kamalei Correa. Of course, he got traded from the Ravens for a 6th-round pick next year. What were some of your thoughts on the trade with Kamalei Correa? I have him making the team as an outside linebacker. He could also help inside. What are your thoughts finally as we get you out of here on Kamalei Correa?
Yeah, I think it was a good acquisition for them. I know that Mike Vrabel has said that he was a little concerned about the depth at inside linebacker, so that will help that until Rashawn Evans comes back. And I think more importantly, he's an outside linebacker. I think that's where he'll have his main contribution, but he gives the depth at both spots and also special teams. So they're getting someone that they could come in. He's obviously talented, a former 2nd-round pick. It's just a matter of how he's used. So Dean Pease has that familiarity with him, so it's really going to come into how they're going to plug him into that defense and on special teams. I think really his contribution will more be on special teams, but this is something that you have to monitor, and that's the health of Derek Morgan. He hasn't practiced in probably about 2 weeks now, and he's really their starting outside linebacker on the opposite side of Rakpo. And we have Harold Landry, who had the injury in the Steelers game, but he actually was walking around the locker room this week without a boot on. I saw him doing that. So it really is going to depend on who's available, but I think Sharif Finch is someone that definitely could come in and help. Aaron Wallace as well. So, Kamale is going to be a good guy for them from a depth perspective.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely thank y'all. Thank you definitely much for coming on, Turron, and definitely doing this. And before I get you out of here, how can anybody catch any of your updates, any of the things that you put out?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at @TDavenport_NFL. If you go to ESPN.com, you click teams and click Titans. You can go ahead and subscribe to that. It's free. It's not paid. You don't have to pay for the content, but you get, any updates or anything that I post on the Titans. And then you can also go to Facebook at Turron Davenport.
Absolutely. And, he has a very good Facebook page because he has his live feeds that he does as well. So y'all definitely make sure you check out Mr. Turron Davenport. Turron, thank you so much for joining me on today. And you have a very good rest of the day. I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, for sure. Thanks a lot. Take care.
All right, thank you. And that was ESPN beat writer Mr. Turron Davenport coming in, definitely spending a lot of time with me. I thank him very much for taking some time out of his busy schedule to join me here today. And now I'm gonna go back to the defense about the Tennessee Titans. Definitely quickly running through. I have on the defensive line, I have 5 defensive linemen: Jarrell Casey, Daquan Jones, Benny Logan, Julius Wormsley, and Austin Johnson. And as I was making this projection, I cannot believe I forgot about Austin Johnson. Maybe because I haven't really just heard his name a whole bunch during the preseason. I just forgot about him. So that was a mistake I made. Excuse me for that. But I think Julius Wormsley has definitely made an impression. He's definitely made some plays, especially in the game against the Buccaneers. He definitely made a few plays, definitely made him noticeable and things like that. So I think they'll at least have 5 linemen, maybe look for one more, because Jonathan Hankins, I believe, is still out there. He hasn't made the team yet. We'll have to see maybe if he's a guy that they bring in, because they'll be on the waiver wire, or they'll still bring in somebody from the outside with cuts when they're made. At linebacker, and this might sound a bit crazy, I have 12 linebackers making this team, and I'll go into that in just a bit. You got Orakpo, you got Morgan, who's hurt right now, Landry, who's hurt, and as you heard from Turron, he's been walking around a bit, so he may not be practicing yet, but I think he might be on the mend. Kamale Correa, who we just brought in, Aaron Wallace, Sharif Finch, and those are just outside linebackers that I have going on. You got Rashawn Evans, Will Compton, Jayon Brown, Wesley Woodyard on the inside, and Robert Spillane. I have him making the team as a guy that can do a lot of things on special teams and could definitely do some things on defense, as a backup. So I actually have Spillane making the team as one of the 12 linebackers. Emmanuel, how you doing out there? I see you on there. I'm going to answer your question in just a minute. But I definitely think Spillane will make it. I think Sharif Finch has done enough to make this team because he was the guy they brought in as an undrafted free agent, and they gave him the most guaranteed money of any undrafted free agent on there. So, I think they really thought highly of him because he could have been a guy that they could have drafted if they had some more picks. So I think Sharif Finch makes it as well on there. And we go into the defensive backs. I have Malcolm Butler, of course, Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan, LaShawn Sims, and I have Kenneth Durden. So I have us keeping 5 corners on this team. Now, I think they may end up with 6. I don't know. I think if Ty Smith or Kalen Reed didn't end up on IR, I think they would have kept 6. But I think they're going to do 5. Honestly enough, I haven't seen enough from Rico Gafford to give him a spot. I know they have Joe Kalu as well coming in. And, I know they have Kendrick Lewis, who could probably play some corner or safety. But I think they'll keep 5 corners. I think they'll also keep 5 safeties, with Byard and Vaccaro being the starters. Dane Cruikshank coming back from injury. Brendan Trawick, who, of course, does some things on special teams. And I think they'll keep Kendrick Lewis as well. So I think they'll have 5 safeties on there. Trawick and Lewis can help on special teams. And last but not least, of course, special teams wise, suck up Brett Kern, Bo Brinkley as the special teamers that make the team. I have Luke Falk, Deontay Burnett, Rico Gafford, Jordan Vesey, Akram Watley, Corey Weichman, one of the offensive linemen, and Stanine, I think, is another offensive lineman. I have those guys, maybe Dickerson, as long as a couple players making the practice squad. I have some of those guys on the practice squad, and I didn't completely fill out my practice squad just yet, but those are just a few of those notable names that I think will make the squad. I think Dalen Dawkins will be cut. I think some other guys are going to get cut too. I think Devin Ross gets straight up cut on there as well. So we're going to find out what happens with this roster because the final 53 is going to come out on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So by 2 o'clock Central time on Saturday, we will have a full 53-man roster going into the game against Miami on the following Sunday, September the 9th. And so that's what I really think about that. And before I get out of here, of course, Emmanuel Green came on YouTube with a question. How do you think Marcus is getting his chemistry down with his receivers because he missed Corey Davis a lot? We were talking about that earlier. You definitely can go back and take a look at that because this will be uploaded. You can replay it. I just thought it was definitely a bad communication on Marcus's part. They got to get consistent together. They just got to throw more passes. I think, for example, I think the same thing can happen with Corey Davis. I know Dorial Green Beckham is no longer in the league, and he was a knucklehead and stuff like that. But if you remember the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Marcus went to DGB, and he tipped the pass. He dropped a pass that ended up being an interception. And so Marcus went to him and said, "Look, I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you. You're going to redeem yourself. I'm coming back to you." And the very next drive, he went right back to Dorial Green Beckham. And now when he caught the pass, broke a tackle, and got in for a score. And that was a big play for DGB, even though he ended up getting traded. We had some hopes for him, but he really didn't have it up there in the mindset. I think Corey Davis has the mindset that he could be better, and he's going to be better. So I think that chemistry is going to happen during the year, and they just got to keep going to each other more. And like Turron said, the good thing that is coming is that Rashard Matthews and Delaney Walker are coming back. They've both been practicing this week, so I think they'll both be very much good to go week 1 in Miami. That's going to make things a lot better for Corey Davis and for Taywan Taylor and Tajay Sharp as well. So I definitely think those things are going to really help Marcus. And I think, it's going to take time. I think for the first few weeks of the year, the defense is going to have to carry the offense. But I think once this offense gets going, they are going to be very, very, very difficult to stop once they get going and once they get into a flow. So everybody, that is going to be it for the show. Next week, we'll be previewing week 1. The regular season is coming. And also I'm going to do my very special game-by-game prediction show as well. So definitely be looking for that. I know this was kind of an impromptu live. So I thank everybody for tuning in with me here on Titans and Truth. My name is Chris. Remember, go to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, follow me there, subscribe to this channel, hit that subscribe button that you see when you watch this. I want some subscribers, y'all. Get out there, help me out. I want to get to 220 subscribers before next week, so help me make that happen, y'all. And again, this is your man Chris, Titans and Truth. I am out.